All right, we've got a candle lantern kit that's going to be presented as a missions gift for to raise funds for missions. This is a frontiersman lantern. This is a bronze piece of, or kind of a brass piece of welding rod that's been bent. This is an all walnut candle lantern. It's got a little carving of flames. And then this is a tinder box that slides out here and comes out to this point. It also has a candle lantern that raises up so you can pull the candle up. And for the biggest part, it's a very nice lantern. And the bottom part is oak. And that inside there's a tray with a couple of let's see if I can pull that out there with one hand. I've got my gravity switch is just a little bit light. There we go. Put that in there. Inside there is a tin with flint and steel and a candle, and then the char wood that goes in here, and there are slide off kits so that you can use this as a tray. Pull your kit out, put your char on there, put your flint and steel, strike it, drop it in the tin, then put your candle and light it. And then you take your candle and you light the lantern, the candle that's in here, pull it up, light your candle, and you're set to go. And there's that. So we gotta make a box for this. And my wife's sleeping in the other room, so I'm trying to be quiet. These are a nice kit. Very, very unique kit. All right, I'm getting ready to make a box to go around a tinder box lantern kit. And I just got through naming this so that the sizes would be set up already. Let me just check the sizes on it. And it's basically 8 inches by 48 inches because we're going to be doing the box joint gadget and the material surface, lower left corner, and we don't need any real fancy stuff. So that's the settings of that. I'm going to go up here to the gadgets, go down here to the box creator version 1.5, and this box version, it basically remembers your settings, and it also defaults to square tabs and tab lib, and it remembers the settings that I use. It also remembers the allowance, so you don't have to redo each time. So our box width is going to be 7.5 inches, and our height, which is the height of the box, is going to be 15 inches, so we'll go 16 inches. Now all I'm doing is going over an inch over the inside dimensions, which will give me a little bit more room. And the depth is 7.5 inches. And all I did is just measure the lantern. I'm going to make the joint width at 0.5 so that it will give us a little bit more. Let's just go 0.75 with that. And I've got 2 dots in there, so let me get that done. And my allowance for my joint is 0.01, and that is a good setting for something that you can put together and has room for the glue, and that's on a 1/4 inch oak. I'm using an end mill, which is a 1/8 inch square tabs with the tab lid, and what this does is this allow me to make the box, and then I'll cut the lid off when I get ready for it. Then I'll scroll down, click OK. Couldn't range quick enough. Okay, so what that means is that my pieces were not tall enough. Okay, so let's go over here. We'll start over from this thing here, and we'll delete all, delete that, and delete that. We'll start all over. We're going to make the size of our material 96 inches. That way it gives us plenty of room to do this. Okay, because basically my measurements are a little bit longer than 2 foot. So we'll go back up here to the gadgets, go down here to easy box creator, and it has remembered all of our settings all the way through and everything. So we're going to scroll down with a scroll wheel and click OK. Couldn't arrange quick enough. Oh, maybe I'm just a little bit too tight. Let's just make that a little bit wider. Sometimes you get kind of funky stuff happening to you because it's trying to figure stuff out, and you just have to get it figured out. So let's just give ourselves all kinds of rooms here. This is a good example. Let's just go 24 by 96 and go 1/4 inch, and let's see what we get out of that thing. All right, I'm gonna save this thing just to go with that, and we'll set that like that. I am capturing screen, so my screens are being just a little bit slow in setup, and we'll look at there, and of course all our settings are right on track. 1/4 inch, inches, material surface, corner, and all that good stuff. So click OK. And we're ready to go back to gadgets. Easy Creator. All my settings are still the same. Square and tab down, click OK. So there, it put it in there. And you know, sometimes it's just a matter of giving it room to play. I mean, if you're trying to put too much stuff in a garage, you're gonna have to put some stuff outside, or it's not gonna work. So just look at it as put your big sheet in there, and then whenever you get ready to resize it down to the size that you want. For example, we can go right over here to File Settings now, and let's just say we're going to start off with a 24 by 24 inch piece of plywood. And a lot of times I'll cut all my plywood down to 24 by 24. And you know, when you look at this, all I really need is 3 pieces in here, and then I could just cut them. So this piece here is the same as this piece, so I'm just going to go up here, get rid of that one, and we'll look in here at these 2 pieces, as you want to be sure that you don't mess this up, because these 2 pieces here look very similar, but they have 1, 2, 3, and this one's the tips on the outside, 1, 2, 3. But if you look up here, there's the insides there. So if you look up here, on this one here, you're saying, okay, these 2 right here are the same, because look at the length of your box. So we're going to get rid of that one. Get rid of that. And then we got one more we need to get rid of. And we'll figure out which one it is here. We'll zoom in. Okay, so this one here is the same as this one. So we're just going to get rid of that and knock that out of the deal. Go up here to our toolpaths, recalculate all, and so there we are. So we have our 3 pieces that are on the layout here for cutting out. Now, if they all 3 would fit in here, then that would be great. But these are like 7.5 inches, so that's 20. I don't know, it may. Let's just see what we got here. Let's grab that thing right here and bring it over here. Yeah, okay. Bring it down to there. And so we got our 3 pieces in here, and a 1/8 inch bit will fit in there no problem. And we could, you know, basically cut all these 3. Just have to cut this off out of 2 sections. Let's go ahead and recalculate, and we're good to go there. Okay, so this is a box that will fit around our tinder box. We'll just cut both of these files twice, and here's your cutout, and we'll look at that. And if you look at your settings on this, the material depth is 26. We want to go a little bit deeper than that. Our end mill is good. We're going to set our passes to, I'm only going to use 2 passes because this is 1/4 inch plywood. And anytime you change anything on this, this will automatically go back up to that. Cutting on the vendor. I don't use tabs because I will tack this with a pin nail. Let me tack that down there so that it stays put. And I'm not going to do any ramps. So this is just be 1/8 inch end mill. I'll shoot some pin nails in there and they'll cut this out. I could probably use this and cut, you know, some more pieces out of this, but generally I'll repurpose my plywood and get the most out of it. And I will say that I probably will grab that one right there. Let me escape out of that. Okay. All right, so there our pieces are. I'm going to calculate that. Okay, and it's just telling us we're going to cut through the material. I'll click close, and I'm going to throw this over on a thumb drive. Put my thumb drive in my drive, and we're going to save this file, which is on my hard drive, and we're going to do a file save as, and we're going to put this on my file there. So we'll go with a new folder, and we'll call this a lantern box, and it is 7.5 by 16 for tender box, and that way that fits in there, and there's that information there. So we'll go in there, put that there, save the toolpath, and then we'll output the toolpath here to this. Save next wave laser. We don't want that. We want the arcs, which is no delay, and we're going to use the one thing there, set it up for that, and it'll just be the cutout. I'll click save toolpath, and it's in that file on the thumb drive, and that basically is ready to cut out. And then when I get this glued together, of course, I'll cut right here at where the box joint comes across, and after I get it glued up, then I'll cut the top of it off, and that will make a box to keep the lantern into. I did make this a little bit bigger so that it will slide down in the box, and keep that. So I've got a little room in here for a 1/4 inch slide out thing to keep the box lined up. I could also put that on the outside. It doesn't really matter. So anyway, so that's good there. We're going to close that. Click File, Save, and that is how we make a lantern box for a tinder box. And we'll take this thumb drive out to the shop and get started on that. All right, I put the thumb drive in the Shark controller. I'm using an extension cable so I don't wire this port out. Telephone man for a lot of years. We saw a lot of worn ports, so that's from taking stuff in and out. So get you a $4 extension cord, just a little female socket. Bring that wear and tear out here. Anyway, so I've got this piece of material loaded up in the Shark. I'm getting ready to tack it down. Basically, I'll just line it up with the front because that's square with my gantry, and we'll get that all lined up. And I'm going to use a 23 gauge pin nailer right here. It's got some 1/2 inch nails in it, and works good. I've only had like 2, maybe 3 jams in this nail gun. I had one yesterday, and I've had it for a 1.5 years, and use it all the time. And it just basically unloosens the bolts right here in front. Unloosen these and pull it out. Get your little pick, pull the little 23 gauge pin nail out of there, and do it. And I just put a lube in it, and away we'll go again. So that's a great tool, and these pins are not affected. They don't affect the cutters. And so I'm going to put a 1/8 inch bit in here, get that ready, already zeroed on the very edge for my datum, and let me go ahead and get that nailed down so that we can cut it. All right, I've just went around the perimeter of this, shot these 1/2 inch little pin nails in there. They tack it down into that, and then I went out here in the middle of my cutout pieces and put 3 in there, which locks it down. Put a couple here and then one down at the end of it. These will be cutting close to 17 inches long, so they'll get out to about right in here. And it's important to nail it down so it doesn't shake. If you see anything shaking, stop it immediately and get it. So let me change my bit out and get going here. All right, that's my material, bottom left corner. Material's a 1/4 inch thick, it's 24 by 24. Got it loaded up, got my Z set. Let me turn on the dust collector and get that going. She's sucking dust, and it basically takes dust from the air input right here, comes all the way around, and basically this is set at the very top of the table right here, so that the dust will be shot out to that. And for the biggest part, it does a good job of controlling all the dust. So let's get this thing going and cut out these 3 pieces, then we'll run it again, and that'll be our box. All right, every now and then I get something right. I don't have to go back and make any changes, but I generally have to make a change or two. And in this case, I had let my material surface down to a 0.01, which it was cutting back here at this, the bit dragging in where it's clearing because it had a 0.001, which is, I mean, hardly nothing. It's basically going to skim across some more of your stuff. So I knew I had to fix that error and move it up to almost a quarter of an inch. So the rapid Z up so that whenever it comes up and over instead of just dragging across. And you learn that. But anyway, I had opened a different file that had that setting on there, and it reset my deal. So that's something you have to look at on your material settings to make sure that rapid Z is at the right type. And then the other thing is when I copied my toolpath, the box creator creates it creates two lines around your box. One's kind of a visual aid, and the other one is your fillets and what it cuts to make your inner box. So this thing had made the cuts, and I had twice as many toolpaths in there that I needed. So anyway, I fixed that, come back out here, and we'll let this thing run and get her going. All right, when you make these toolpaths, you'll see there's two lines in here. And what you want is the line that's got the little fillets in there, or fillets that are on the corner there. That's the cutout. This one here, you don't really want it because it will cut on the inside of the box, so you don't really want that one. So let's get rid of that one. And then we'll move over to this other one. And again, you're looking for the one with the fillets. So we're going to get rid of that one. And then we have one more over here on this side over here. And we don't want the one that has the fillets, okay? Or, for that, okay. We're going to recalculate our toolpaths. And it's still telling us it's going to cut through the material. Also up here on your setup, okay? Your setup on your material, home and start, your rapid Z gaps above material. I noticed that I wasn't raising up anything. So I knew that I need to get in here and change this file, because this thing here will go strafing across your material and put a cut in it. It's a 0.1. That might have come from a laser file or where that was, but that had stopped that. And so we wanted to change that as well. Okay. So we got that. Let's check out our toolpaths. Make sure that they didn't jump back up to 11. And no, they're still set at 2. So, okay. So, all right. So we'll calculate and click close. And there we are there. There's our toolpath. This is really what we needed to do to cut this. So let me go ahead and resave this file. And it's on my thumb drive. And then we're going to publish the toolpath with the arcs, save the toolpath. Make sure it's going out here to my cutout. Click save, say yes. And that should fix all my issues. File, exit. And I need to save this to my sharp folder. Alright, I should have videotaped that, cutting that out or pulling that up, because it pulls up just like double stick tape, except it just doesn't ever move. And there's no residue. You don't have to do any fine detail. You do have to pull these little nails out. And they're a 1/2 inch nail. So I just go around, and all I do is I just grab my pair of dikes and pull them like that. And as I go across there, I try to get the ones in front because they are like a little bitty needle or a little, straight pin, and they will booger you up. And the way I find them is I run them across there like so, and just give them the old flip-a-rama. Of course, this is from 2, 3 cuts, so I'm just getting ready to lay another piece of stuff down. And this is my wasteboard. So, you could take a hammer and just cut them things down, but it's just as good to pull them off there. And there I am, that one. As you can see, they're pretty easy to find. I'm leaning on my tippy toes getting back in here. And I shot quite a few in here because I was right here by the edge. Generally I won't shoot quite this many in there, but you know, hey, like that, a couple of separate ones in there. So all right, so let's see what we got here. Another one there, and another one in there. Yeah, I did put quite a few in there. The thing wasn't going anywhere. Okay, now all I need to do is vacuum that, load up another piece, and any of them that I missed, they'll get flattened out because they don't, you know, there's not much shear strength up and down. They just kind of keep something, you know, sticking, kind of like tape. So, all right, just vacuum that, put it on a new piece, and away we go. All right, I have a DeWalt White Tech shop vac. Let me turn that on. There it is on, very quiet with the dust deputy, and it's all hooked up to this hose reel. And all I do is just walk out, grab the thing, gonna go out here by the front, and then I'll take my vacuum attachment, hook up to that, and just quickly go over it. And there's my hose going through the shop. Good as new. Ready for another cut. Alright, while that's cutting out, I'm going to cut some little tender tubes for inside the box with the char. And this is basically a jute wax. Don't use cotton because cotton absorbs water. I'll braid that up, 3 strands, braid them up. They'll slide through here. I'm going to flare the ends of that, and then that'll slide through there, and then of course I'll dip that in wax and then put it inside this, and that will give me a jute stick and tender tube is what they call it. And I'm going to use just a Harbor Freight tube bender, light duty. Just use some 1/4 inch, you know, ice maker line, you know, roll. It goes a long way. Boys love this. And you get that foot still going, put that tender tube down in there and blow into that, and you'll get a fire going. So let me get them flared out. Alright, of course, the way this thing works is you put your tender tube in there flush with the top of your deal, and it fits in the slot that it's designed for, which in this case is 1/4 inch. Then you put your little flaring tool in there, and it turns clockwise just a hair, and then that locks the 2 fingers in. Locks the 2 fingers in, and then you can crank it down and flare it up. Let me get that done. Alright, got 2 or 3 turns, just puts a little bit of a flare on it. All that does just makes it to where, you know, you insert the thing in there, it slides in and out. It don't have to be much of one. Alright, that's what she looks like when she's flared up. You get that on there, just put a little bit of a edge around it. And now let's do this end right here. Slide it up in there, and away we go. Alright, and there it is. All we gotta do is braid up a piece that fits in there, and we'll have a tender tube. Let me get her done. Alright, just took 3 strands of jute, braided them up like you would your little sister's hair, or and so nowadays probably your little brother's hair, I don't know. Anyway, 3 strands of each, just bring the outside over the inside, the outside over the inside, and then pretty soon it's all braided together. Main thing is that it's all uniform going across there. And then of course I just tie a figure 8 on the loop at the top of it, and that'll keep it ready to go. And then at the end of it, you just tie one overhand knot at the very end of it. You don't want it very big so that it'll slide through, and that just keeps it from unraveling whenever you get it waxed up. So there you go, and there's our goods. I've got some boys that are going to be getting this lined out with, so probably the next couple weeks. So I'll bring that to them and they'll get that. I got like a kit of 5, so I do a pretty good group at one time. Right, and as we're going to the cutouts, let's see what we are doing here. This was all being done when I was making those, and it looks like they came out just fine. There we go there. We'll pop that up and get that together, and this is kind of what they look like there. So I'll run a sand over and then glue them up. All right, all cleaned up, nails pulled. Put the vacuum attachment underneath the CNC, threw it on the floor. Coming over here getting ready to do some sanding, and let me get that thing out of the way. It's just a matter of grabbing that little guy right there, give her a couple turns, and it's out of the way. So that dragging a shot back around their garage is for the birds. Anyway, so let's get this box sanded up so we can get it ready to go. All right, lots of glue. Just need to fold it up, tape a couple corners, and the way this one's pretty tight, so you may not need to have any tape on it. Let's get her done. All right, good glue up. Got her in nice and tight. The joints are tight, and she's gluing up. I'm gonna go back into the back and get some wax to wax these, and I'll take this stuff to the back. All right, you take those braided little guys and you put them in a hot plate outside, not near a burglar alarm or a fire alarm, because it might set that off, speaking from past experience. Anyway, put it in double boiler with this pot that's a little bit bigger. It's got some water on it. You remember that it's going to, when this gets in there, it's going to expand then when it starts boiling. So don't even probably a quarter turn, but you don't want that to dry, get dry. And then that's the wax, and it'll dry back up to a solid. And then while you do it, make you some little fire starters that you can throw in your tinder kit for fire. Wax is a messy thing. It will get all over the place and get all over everything you got. So do not do that in the house. Do it someplace that you don't have to worry about it. And then this is our tinder tubes. This is all this is a whipped piece of copper pipe that's been string whipped, just like you would whip the end of a rope. Then you dip it in plastic. That basically gives you a hot pad. So when that thing gets hot and you're sticking it on there and it burns up, this will isolate your fingers from getting burnt. So there's that. And basically, you know, you just slide your tube up and down there a couple times to get it to where it goes out on that. If it gets stuck in there, just heat it up. But I generally will let it run. I'll run it up there once or twice, and then that'll last a long time. I mean, there's a 1,000 lights in that as a candle, and what we were doing was just fluffing the end of it. I told the boys fluff, and then when you use the metal match, of course this will be flint steel, but fluff it up a little bit and then stick it down in your tin with your char and blow it, and it'll vaporize that wax, turn it into flame. So there's that. And that project's coming along just fine. So be careful with wax. Do not leave it unattended. And again, do not put it anywhere that you'll get, because it'll sprinkle and splatter and get all over everything. And dedicate pans to it. And get you a tin can, get you an old pan, an old pot. Because trying to clean that up is just it's hard. So I do not recommend that. Just get one that you can dedicate to it. Just keep them together. I have a whole box designed just for that. Okay, this guy down here is going to be getting close to being dried enough to where I can cut it in half, and so the lantern kit's coming together. All right, that's the box, and going around it there, got leather hinges on the back side of it, leather handle on the top side, leather hasp here with a little guy here that goes through there. And of course I got the nastiest dowel I could find that was kind of broke off in a knot. Use it, so I did like to go over the corners and get them fairly flat. Not perfect, but I wanted it just a little bit better than it was. It's still not sharp. Anyway, got the handle up here on the top, and then I shot it with a kind of a sealer coat of some lacquer, just brushing lacquer, and then I hit it with a triple thick poly something, call it polyacrylic or something like that. It's a triple thick something finish, water-based cleanup, so a little bit different. But anyway, I brushed it inside and out, and there we go. This thing here is I glued it with some super glue, some good glue, and sealed it off. So there you go. All right, tender tube fit in the little tin, front steel, some char cloth, and that in a box. I'll basically put the little tender tube and the flint steel in one box, and then the char in the other box. I just have it in there right now. And just added skids to the bottom of the lantern, and finish is about to dry. So put that on, hooked up a little bit of brad tacks in it, and let her dry up. And of course she's sitting there lifting up 20 pounds, so it's quite a bit for a 1/4-inch piece of plywood to lift up 20 pounds. But when you got box joints all the way across, it's a strong thing. And there's that, of course, beautiful lantern. I need to hunt me a candle for it, and we'll be good to go. All right, there's that box, and it houses that lantern. There's the strap, the hinges. It's got a coat finish on it, all box jointed. And then I've got my little half steel there. That's just an old dowel that I'm turned it on anyway at the table saw. And then there's that. Comes open like that. The other hinges on the back side. And inside here is the lantern. And pull that open. That here. Just enough room to get that out. Then down inside is the box. And here is this. We'll put the bail in there. Put that in there. And then we're set up. And of course the tinder box, we've got that in there. We've got the flint steel in there now. The char. Everything's in there. The thing will slide out. The drawer will slide out. Right here. And then inside the two tins is your char and your steel tinder. And one side has got the char in there. And the other side has the, open that up a little bit. Has the char cloth. So there's your flint and steel char cloth. You could also put some char in there. And then on this side over here is the open it the right way, don't I? And then inside here is your flint and steel, your tinder tube if you choose to use it, or a candle, or you could use some of this jute that's got little strings of it. You could light it. And then of course here's your flint and steel. We're striking a piece of char cloth, and then once you get your char cloth lit, I would highly recommend that you put the lid on there, so when you want to snuff it out, so you basically would put your char, keep your tin about half open, put your char, strike it on your rock. I generally put mine up here on there, and then put a piece in there and strike it, drop it in right in there, then take your candle and blow it into where it vaporizes the wax and it goes poof into a fire. Or you could use your tinder tube, which is just a wax tube. This has got a kind of like a heat mitten on it, And all that is just a whip string. And anyway, that goes in there, and you can pull and snuff the fire out by pulling the string and pulling the cord down through there, and just get your fire down on the end of it. Of course, you know, with two hands, it's a lot easier to get things done. But anyway, so there we are on that, and all this just packs back together, fits in this storage box, and that's my wilderness deal, my wilderness trade item that it will be going for missions offering at the territorial level. After you're done going around lighting all your candles, you put your flint and steel and your little candle back up in there, and that slides back in there. This little gravity latch just it's in there, and so then it's got that like that. Of course, you have your lantern that goes up like this. I do have a model that I'm creating that the back pane will come out. I'll put some metal in here, and then a door that you can open from the back side with these lanterns. So there they are. And then to get that to go back into the box, you just pull that like that. Take this little guy right here and drop her down inside the box. Take your handle, hold your two pieces together, and I generally would just pull it down like this, just as long as it's down below the little spacer there in the top, like that. And then this will be a self-aligning lid. It'll line up on the sides, come down to the top, go in there, put your little toggle deadbolt in there. It's on a wedge, and you're ready to go. That's been sealed with a polyurethane, triple thick. It's rough. Probably need to sand it just a hair. Get it ready to go. And that is it.